Welcome back, episode 2 of the Gucci Glizzy build. In the last episode, we installed the Strike Industries mag release and also the Strike Industries magwell. So that was all on the lower. Now we're gonna work on the upper. So I just removed the stock upper and we have a Zafiri Precision slide, window cut slide with a red dot cutout. We've got a gold ported barrel, a Swamp Fox Liberty green dot. This is my first time trying a green dot, but I've heard a lot of good things. And also an upper parts completion kit. This is pretty cool. You gotta press this button to open it. This is some sick packaging, mate. It is sick, bruv. So I was in between the ported slide and the JTT comp slide. Just the tip, pause, comp slide. Comp and ports, I went with ports. Anyway, we got a gold barrel, upper parts kit. Swamp Fox Liberty. So I've had this before. It works pretty well in my opinion. Got a bunch of screws, got the battery, got a little tool, and the red dot plus a cover. With the green dots, the glass is like clear. That's like damn near clear. Whereas with the red dot, it has that, tint to it. Let's start with the slide, this thingy, the plastic or the ejector rod spring. So now we'll work on the firing pin. Oh. Not good, bro. I got it. That's what the plastic thing is called. The channel liner. We've got our little safety with the spring. Weird looking extractor. Now we have our back plate. Back plate is in and we are good. No firing pin. Press on this. Firing pin. Barrel. Look at that. The ports just are below that. I hope that's not a problem. Anyway, we have a completed upper. So, allegedly, I can do that, but we're not done. Now it's time to install this bad boy. This is cut to RMR spec, and this has an RMR footprint. All right, look at that. Green dot, changed the intensity. Ooh. Before we do anything, let's oil it up, shall we? So I'm putting some oil along these channels, because that's where it'll be sliding back and forth with the lower. And then I'm gonna oil the spring. Damn, this gold barrel is getting dirty very quickly. Then I'm gonna oil up a little bit of the slide where I know the barrel will be engaging. I'm gonna run my finger through there a little bit. Oh yeah. Essentially, that is our complete custom 19. What do you guys think? Now getting into all the details of the what and why, starting from the front all the way to the back. Pause. First thing I'm gonna address, why I don't have irons. In my use case, in my current scenario, I do not need irons. I don't find that I will need them for a while. Eventually I do plan on getting fiber optic suppressor height sights, but right now this is a home defense and range toy. So at the range, I'm gonna be using the red dot, strictly the red dot. If it fails, I'll replace the battery, or if I don't have it at the range with me, leave for the day and then come back when I have a new battery. If it fails in home defense scenario, realistically, it's gonna be very, very close range and also only in a shit hits the fan scenario. So I may not even have time to sight in or aim with the red dot. It'll just kind of be point and shoot. So in that case, the irons wouldn't be necessary. Now, if I do get into concealed carry, however, and you're shooting at longer distances like 25 yards, 50 yards, 100 yards, the red dot is there. It'd be nice to have the irons as backups. Yes, I agree. As a civilian, I don't find the need to spend an extra $100, $200, but it does kind of look weird without them. But this is a budget build. As much as I say Gucci Glock, it looks like one, but it's not an actual Gucci Glock, as in it's not that expensive. All of these parts, including the gun itself, everything came to be around about $1,000, whereas a real Gucci Glock, just the upgrades themselves would be upwards of $1,000, But I like the way this looks. I like that I was able to cut down and budget well, still making it to my liking, to my spec, and completely functional. So next thing is why the 19? Mainly because, look at that. It fits perfectly with my size hand. You know, it feels good in my hand. I've used a 19 before. This is my second one. Why Glock? Well, it's very reliable, very popular, not that expensive, easy to use, easy to carry, especially 19, very popular for concealed carry. So it does leave that option open if I choose to go that route. Police use it, military use it. It's an all-around solid gun. Yeah, some people hate it. Some people dislike the fact that the bottom half is polymer. Some people dislike how boring it is. But because of its popularity, there are so many third-party aftermarket pieces. In fact, I think it has the most aftermarket parts of any gun. And that's what allows us to make builds like this, you know, and have fun with them. That's why I went with the Glock 19. So starting at the front, this is the biggest thing that's a conflict of concealed carrying. I went with this light because I like how it kind of sticks out. And again, this is kind of more of a budget light. It's not a Surefire. You know, it's an O light, but look at how big it is. Look at how wide it is, right? Compared to the gun itself, the width of the gun itself. This is huge. This would not be fun to conceal carry. It'll press up against your pelvis, press up against your waist. But for what it is, it works well. You can actuate on both sides, ambidextrous controls. You can press and hold, or you can click it on and off. And it's very bright, especially inside in the dark area. With this sticking out, I would also like a barrel that kind of sticks out, you know, like a threaded barrel, one with a thread attachment or thread cover. But because I went with a ported barrel, you can't really find ported barrels that stick out unless you go with like a Glock 17 barrel, but then the ports wouldn't match up with the slide. And as you can tell, this one doesn't actually match up anyway, because the barrel and the slide are made by different brands, different companies. Most of the holes have an opening to allow the gases to escape. It's just the top two holes, and even then, only about a third of them are covered. So really the only issue that I see is probably the underside of this slide getting really dirty from the gunpowder. The barrel itself is gonna get extremely dirty from the gunpowder, especially with it being gold. Just from the engagement with the slide, you can already see that it's picking up some guck. But yeah, I decided to go with the ported barrel instead of a JTT comp barrel. The JTT does stick out, which is kind of nice, or just a compensator in general. There's the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner. There's the Strike Industries mass driver comp. But again, those are very expensive. Although with the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner, it does keep that barrel and gun just down straight. It works really well, but I'm not paying $300-400 for that. I'm going with the ported barrel. We're gonna see how it works. Stay tuned for that. I've never shot a gun with a ported barrel, so seeing how flat I'll be able to shoot with this and how much recoil does get reduced will be very interesting to find out. You know, with this video, we completely changed the upper. I have the stock upper, so soon we'll do a side-to-side comparison. Went with a full black look with the gold accent, and I'm thinking I may want to do one more accent color piece, maybe in the trigger. We will get to that. So let's continue on from the light, the barrel, now the slide. We have obviously the cutout for the ports. We have window cuts on the side also, which reduce weight, and it also allows for better grip on the front, especially when you're racking or press checking. Same thing with the jimping on the back, racks and press check. The stock Glock slide, the OEM slide, this Gen 3, there's no front jimping, no front, whatever you call this, only on the back. So, you know, it kind of just slides back and forth. Whereas with these window cuts, now I can press check in all different ways, even a John Wick press check, which with the red dot, it kind of, John Wick press check doesn't really work because yeah, I'm getting like fingerprints on the glass, but you can, you know, on something as long as that's screwed in tight enough. Onto the red dot, it's actually a green dot. Basically, I went with a green dot just because why not? I was watching a bunch of videos on red versus green. Green, the color itself is more easily visible to the human eye. As a dot, it's better during the day, it's easier to pick up. People with astigmatism, it's like you don't get that blur or whatever effect. I don't have astigmatism, so it's not really a problem for me, but decided to go with the green because it sounds pretty cool. They say no matter what, choose a color, train with that color, perfect your shooting with that color. You don't want to go back and forth. This dot sight is a budget sight. It has the footprint of an RMR, but it's nowhere near as expensive. You know, instead of going with a Trijicon RMR or a Holosun, the more popular brands, even a 6 Hour or Vortex, decided to go with this. I like the look of it, full metal construction. It has these kind of cutouts, which match the design or match the look of these window cuts of the slide. So it looks really cool. I like the tactical kind of design. You have 10 brightness settings, windage and elevation adjustments, battery access from the top, 4,000 or 5,000 hours of battery life. It also has that shake and wake feature, and it works. It's good. I've used it before. I like it. And then moving down, pretty much we have the stock trigger, which I'm not a super fan of. There's a lot of take up and it's kind of like sticky in my opinion. And then the brake, solid. We could get a performance trigger which has less take up or a smoother take up, nice crisp brake, and then a quicker reset, you know. Oh, and if I do get the trigger, I'd want to get it in red, you know, as the other accent piece. I could have gotten the Strike Industries mag release in red. They have different color options, but I think a red trigger would look a lot better, look a lot cooler. But that's also like another more expensive thing that I don't necessarily need at the moment. This build is kind of centered around having a red dot and having the ported barrel. So reducing recoil, basically better aim. This whole build is kind of focused on better aim and better function, which I guess a better trigger could improve function. Going along with function, the mag release is extended and it has a bigger button, so it's easier to actuate. In my opinion, the OEM Glock mag release sucks. Super low profile, which I guess is like the whole point, but with how low profile it is, it's very hard to actuate it. At least for me, it's very hard to actuate. So with this, you know, reloads and dropping the mags becomes super easy. And with the mag well, you know, putting that mag back in can be a lot quicker. Also the mags, I have the 2 OEM mags and I picked up 2 more Magpul P mags. These have orange followers, which I really like. OEM mags do not have orange followers. I believe the Gen 5 mags do, and it also only comes with 2. I think Gen 5 comes with 3 or something. But they don't sell Gen 5 in California, which kind of sucks. You work with what you have, you know? I know a lot of people dislike these because of the full polymer construction, but I've used these before and I actually like them better than the OEM mags. Also 10 rounds because it's California, you know. For the mag well, because it kind of sticks out like this and my hand perfectly kind of matches with the Glock grip, my pinky just barely rests on the mag well. So I'm thinking, I haven't shot with the mag well yet, but I'm thinking this could kind of help with the grip and mitigating recoil, because now I have another point of contact to press down. Again, that's something I'll have to test out at the range. And another thing I'd like to change is the slide release, the slide lever, because this one is also super discreet, you know, OEM, super flat, super small. My issue with this is if I'm pressing this to rack the slide forward, with how quick the slide moves forward and how close my thumb is to the slide, I'm afraid of pinching my thumb. And I feel like I've done it before. I'm pretty sure I have done that before. So having the extended slide release, probably gonna do that. Also with the Gen 3s, the grip is not great, especially right here. A lot of people do custom grip textures, which I may do, not sure. I may even try it on my own. I think I have the tools for it. Kind of getting some scratches from here. But again, I feel like that's something I do after I shoot it to know exactly where I want to make the changes. With other guns, the ergonomics and grips can be better, and some of them are. Like for me, a Beretta 92 feels extremely comfortable in the hand, even more comfortable than this, but also a Beretta more than twice the price, and also since it's full metal construction, more than twice as heavy, so it's not great for concealed carry as an option. Other than that, pretty much it. It's a super sick build. I love this. This is my new baby. Kind of looks like something Batman would carry. All black, matte black, very tactical, straight edged with a gold accent. This is Batman's sidearm, if he were to ever shoot. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we've stayed within all of YouTube's guidelines. You know, it has become very strict. I actually used to have a Glock build video up on YouTube before, way back when, my first Glock, and it got taken down. but here we are again. And stay tuned for the super scientific study of stock versus ports.